I'm about to repeat myself because we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So my name is Cassandra Burnton, the founder of Supplemental Education LLC. We're a virtual tutoring company that provides support for parents with kids K through 12 in every single subjects area, focused specifically on academics, social and emotional growth, success, and well-being. I have a special guest for you. Today is not about supplemental education. Y'all hear from me every single day. I actually have Elyse Jones, who is the founder of Parenting for the Culture. I had the privilege of joining her webinar last week, and Elyse, as you're coming in, I was shooketh. I said, "Ouch!" I said, "Amen." I wrote things down. Every time I raise my voice and get amp behind these closed doors, I remember the love languages and the punishment languages and what discipline is versus punishment and the stories and everything that you shared. So I'm going to let you do you because I'm still a student. I have my pencil and paper right here. But if you will join on Instagram, we will jump in and get started. Miss Elise, I invited you here. I know I see you on Facebook and I see you on all the places. You can either come out and request or we'll send you another invitation. But Elyse is a certified parent coach. And we have a very fun story about how we met.
Are we in?
Yes, here.
Look, hold on. First of all, a couple disclaimers. This phone may fall. Y'all, Cassandra fancy out here got me on all these devices. And I'm over here laughing at what you said on Instagram, but I'm like, I think Facebook got a little lag. So y'all be like, why she laughing? That looks weird. So, anywho, we here. Hey, girl.
Hey, my tech team is on the way. Right now, I'm the tech team. They on the way. So you look, I saw you on this side laughing. I'm like, okay, you can hear me over here. Okay, we good over there. This is how we rolling. This is how we gotta do it. How are you, Elyse? It's good to see
I am
you.
well. Good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
A privilege and honor. So yes, I am well glad to be here.
Absolutely. I knew a little over a month ago, like just seeing your post on Facebook and following you through the years, honestly, I was like, oh, I have to have Elyse come talk to my people. Really talk to me. So everybody who I have a conversation with, low key, high key, I just want to have the conversation. And I just invite my friends, like, y'all listen, come on in. Because I know what's good for me is also good for those that are connected to me. So I'm a mom of a 2-year-old. I do not claim the terrible twos at all. I'm not saying or speaking that, but it is what it is. Two is it's something. Okay. So I needed you last Thursday. God bless you. It was divine timing. Josiah was in the background doing what Josiah does. And I was like, in order for me to love you well, I need to sit here and take these notes and we need to get into the application of things. So I would love for you to just share who you are. Then we're going to tell the people how we met.
Okay.
Story. And I don't actually remember all of it. So I'm going to need you to fill it in and then we'll jump in.
Okay. Sounds good. I want to see if these connect real quick. I should do this before we jump on. I apologize. Say something, Cassandra.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Start over. Yeah.
Okay, this is better. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Like Cassandra said, my name is Elyse Jones. I'm the founder and chief consultant for Parenting for the Culture. So we are a counseling and consulting practice that is committed. Oh my God, y'all, this is my heart work. I call it a work of heart when it comes to really helping parents and families identify those generational cycles, but also interrupt them, right? I recognize that a lot of parents are unknowingly and unconsciously recycling habits that honestly continue to leave a legacy of intergenerational trauma. A lot of time we call it tradition, but it's really trauma. And so part of my life work and part of my passion is to work with parents to really, again, identify those things and then uproot them. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I have 2 beautiful babies. My husband and I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I get like on the job training every day. Every day. So I definitely relate when you said we don't say those terrible twos. We don't speak that. I have a 2-year-old son, my baby boy, and we call them teachable twos, actually, Cassandra. So
Okay.
on Thursday we talked a lot about discipline means to teach. But we say teachable tools. We are setting a foundation. We setting those boundaries, right? And so yeah, that's what we say, teachable tools.
Writing it down. I need language. I need language. So many times we know what we won't do as parents or what we don't want to do or cycles we don't want to repeat, but it's like what do we replace it with? And I feel like that's where your company Parenting for the Culture comes in, because I don't want to have to punish or discipline in certain ways, but I'm like, but what else do I have? Where are the tools? What can I do? I don't want to raise my voice. I don't want to lay hands. You know what I'm saying? I want to love and nurture and develop. And a lot of what we see, I'm sure you see this with your son. A lot of what I see with my 2-year-old are things I want him to do, to speak out, to ask questions, to have his own mind, to be articulate. Like he speaks very well. So I know exactly how he feels about what I asked him to do and not do. So I don't want to quench that, right? I love those things, but at the same time, there is a way to give him the discipline that he needs in the way that he needs it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think what you said is that's so important because a lot of times we unknowingly, right, and unintentionally hinder the very skill sets we want to see when they're adults. And they don't just grow one day and become an adult and like, oh, now I have a voice and I can set boundaries. Like, no, we have to teach them along the way. So you're so right. You have all these skills and these, abilities that can, man, if we're not careful, our own irritation, our own frustration will shut those things down instead of enhance them and cultivate them, which we are called to do as their parents. So yeah, I definitely get it, sis. I get
Yeah.
it.
Enhance and cultivate. Writing that down. We already even got into it. I told you I came as the learner. I know I'm on live, and I know this is kind of for y'all, but this is mostly for me. So let's talk about how we met because Elyse, we've actually known each other since like what year was that? 2008?
8. Was it 8?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, it was. It was 2008. And it's been
Wow.
15 years.
Wow. It was '08. I would say it had to be '08 because I was there '08 and '09, I think. But it
Yep.
was the first year I was there. So yeah, '08. Wow.
Yeah. And so we've stayed connected. So, Elyse, you please fill in. I'm not trying to lie about how we met. I just don't have a great memory. I just remember being in South Africa
Yeah.
on Table Mountain. Am I telling the truth?
No. Wait, girl, don't mess me up now. I thought we met on did you go to any college campuses right there?
Oh,
I
maybe
thought
we
we
were
met
on the. Okay, so you tell me how we met. You tell
was
the
at the
story.
University of Western Cape. Did you go there?
Yeah, Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch, that's where it was. Yes, okay. Well,
Stellenbosch
we was on different campuses.
University
It was
in
on
South
campus,
Africa
in the
on
cafeteria.
campus.
You were
Okay,
eating lunch.
see, I was about to make. I did go to Table Mountain. I didn't make that part
We
up. But
did
I was like,
too. We
we
did
have
too.
Table Mountain. Okay, you tell it, girl. You tell it. Okay, how we meet? How did we meet?
But I get you, because we did go to Table Mountain also. But no, you were sitting down eating lunch, and I remember. So, like she said, we was in South Africa. You were studying abroad, right?
Yep, studying abroad.
And
I'm
I was
still
there
here. I
on.
gotta go off camera, but I'm listening.
Okay, I was there for a mission trip. So met Cassandra, we doing missions, yeah. I really thought she was a local. I did. I thought you were a local, Cassandra. I see you here on Facebook. She'll be back here on Instagram in a second, guys. But I
Yes,
thought you were
yes. The
I thought
locals
you were a
thought I
local.
was a local. They thought I was. They'd be like, Cece. I'm like, no, I'm from the US. I'm so sorry, but thank you, but no.
Same. We experienced the same. I was going to y'all. I'm about like, listen, I don't know who this girl is, but she about to get this gospel. So I went over like, hey, introduce myself. As soon as she started talking, I was like, hold on, where you from? And end up realizing, I knew her sister. I went to college in Columbia, knew your sister from visiting her church from time to time. And so it was just like, whoa, like, girl, not only are we here in Africa, but we both got roots in Missouri. Like, what's really
Yes,
going on?
yes.
Yeah.
So in Stellenbosch, South Africa, Elise was sharing the gospel of Jesus, and I love me some Jesus. And we found out we actually both know my sister. Clearly, that's my sister. So I know my sister. But y'all went to the same church, knew who one another was, and we have just stayed connected ever since then. And I have loved watching you not only grow, as a woman through all the
Mm,
make it through college and, getting married and having children, but grow in the wisdom of God and grow in your
mm.
career. So,
Thank
how do we
you.
find Elise that was over here evangelizing in South Africa in 2008? How did you
Mhm.
get here now as the chief consultant and the founder of Parenting for the Culture? To fill us in just a little bit to what led you to Parenting for the
Yes.
Culture.
Absolutely. So definitely was in college during those years. I finished undergrad in 2010. Went straight to grad school, got my master's in social work, and so from there, my career started in education. Actually, school social work, or basically school counselor, in the Memphis area. So I worked for a middle school, man, for over a decade. Got the opportunity to really learn and support students and families for over those 10 years. And to be honest, Cassandra, it was in that work. I'm like, okay, this is the work, right? Like we are doing some amazing things. I'm seeing amazing changes with the kids in the school,
Right,
supporting teachers, right? All these things. But I really learned very early on in my career is that when we want to make lasting change or holistic change, like the parents have to be included on that work.
yes,
And when I was working with a student or doing counseling sessions, when I had those involved parents who would, come in also, who would come in for meetings, who would like actually take advice and practice it, like that served the students so well. And I saw tremendous change and impact in students' lives. And so that really had me think, okay, like I see this work is impactful, right, in the school setting,
right,
but I want to get more intentional with the parents because that's really where it starts. Like we can do all this stuff and all these different programs, but when that child go back home, a lot is being unraveled in a lot of situations, right?
yes,
And so I really see parents as like the biggest influencer in their kids' lives, and we can just all get on the same page
that's it.
on what is most helpful, what is most beneficial. Like, man, talk about impact and legacy throughout the years, right? And so that really shifted my focus. Even though I still, advocate for kids, I love the kids. I spoke to some kids recently at an engagement, so I still love the kids, right? But my focus has really shifted to the parents as the true leaders and guides of their households.
Yes, 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 yes. Girl, I could stand up and clap, but I got to hold this phone because I'm raggedy and I didn't charge it all the way. I did charge it, but I've been busy. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is everything that you said about parents. So it reminds me of it was like 2019. I had just come back from Costa Rica. I love to travel, so I was living there, and I came back like frustrated, not at anybody but about the gaps in education. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know what's best because I've studied and I've trained and I've have experience and I know your
Mm-hmm.
kids and I know you know what's best in a way, but it seems like we're not working together.
Mm-hmm.
And so how could we work together? So you saying the game changer is the parent, I absolutely 100% agree. I work for children, but I work through parents. We're
Yes.
working for
I
generations,
love that. Yes.
but we got to get to the minds and the hearts of parents. And us being parents, I feel like now, even before we were parents, but now us being in the role of parent is like, I'm actually having to be about it. My phone
Mm-hmm.
accidentally went live the other night and I was talking to the
Is that live still up? I want to go here.
girl. I was like, Nelly. But no, so 4 people were in and out of the live, but because and this
Mm.
this was after your session, so I will thank you for this.
Oh,
The
yes.
live, it was accidental and it was all black, so I was like, there's no point in keeping it up. But it was me having a conversation with a 2-year-old and him getting to choose whether or not he wanted to read a story with me, which was the plan. And then him deciding he wanted to read the story, and then me reading it, and then me giving him the option to come back to the dinner table, finish eating. But I of course, I listened back because I'm like, oh Lord, these people didn't listen. What? what did I say? What did I? And I caught so many things that could be nuggets. Tone,
Mm-hmm.
choice, opportunity, wait time. Mommy has decisions and choices. There's things that I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said about kids going back to their homes and back to their families and back
Mm-hmm.
to the parents makes complete sense that your focus is on parenting. So let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you this, because I feel like my whole spot was blown right when I went live accidentally. I was like, "Who if they would have kept if they would have caught me last Thursday?" Because on social media you can curate a lot of
Exactly.
things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For a webinar, for a session, you can curate many things.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to live what I'm
That's it.
preaching, and
That's
even when it's hard, to really like bring the hard lessons to the forefront. So you, as a parent, as a mother of two, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, how does this show up in your home? How does parenting for the culture manifest inside of the Jones home?
Yes. So, I mean, it's everything you just said, to be honest. One thing I appreciate about this new career path that I'm taking is that, like, I'm convinced that this is one of very few careers where your work literally makes you a better parent and your parenting makes you better at your work. Right. And so I'm just really, man, I'm grateful that everything is right in my face, because like I try to be very open, not just on lives and videos, but even with my clients that I serve. Like, listen, I am practicing this every day as well. Like, we are human, right? And as we learn the experiences and learn why behind it, like, I never want anybody to get like this cookie cook cookie cutter, thought or idea that, like, if you do A+8, like, no, like, it is not, this is not math, right? We're talking kids. And
Yeah,
so that's why with this work, it is so personal, because again, I am a parent, and I say all the time that parenting is so much more about us than we realize. I believe it's called parenting and not childing for a reason. And so
yeah,
once I begin to learn more about myself,
yeah,
right, I'm able to be a more intentional parent. So to directly answer your question, everything I'm teaching and preaching, I am taking my own advice, right? Like, I'm learning to be intentional with my pause, to make sure even when I make a mistake, I go back and wrong, because listen, you heard me Thursday, baby. I don't get this right every day. I know sometimes I forget, what I'm saying, to pause and do my breath. Sometimes I'm
yes,
talking in a more agitated tone. But the beautiful thing
yes,
about it, the more we practice this, the more we equip our kids to also hold us accountable. And so
yes,
not only, I got my husband to keep me, to be like, he said something the other day. I can't remember what I told our oldest daughter. He was like, I've never heard you say that before. I was like, he was like, I'm not saying it's bad. He said, I never heard you say that. I think I asked her to, I can't even remember. If I think about it, I'll let you know. But whatever it was, that was him holding me accountable. Like, he's like, I'm not saying it's bad. He was like, but I just never heard you say that, so I can see why it upset her. And so
yeah,
I talked to her about it, and made that wrong right. And so it's a daily practice, but it's so beautiful, because again, I think it helps me be more relatable also to
yes,
the population I serve, because like we are literally walking through this together. I appreciate my education, right, and my background, but it's these experiences, you hear me? It's these experiences that's really making the work worthwhile. So yeah, we practice what we preach. We practice what we preach.
baby. It's these stories and these experiences. So as you're speaking, I'm like, I don't know what you said to your daughter, but tone in my home is so important. And I remember even, and my dad might watch this, but we even still now talk about tone, because I'm like, you ain't gotta say it like all like that. Are you military background? Was your
I
parent?
am. My dad, he's retired Navy. Yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stereotypes, and I was like, I didn't have to fold my socks, and my dad wasn't like, "I'll be served," It
Right.
wasn't that, but sometimes that tone be real soldier sergeant y, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't got to do all that, but I have adopted that in the way that I teach,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that my tone can command attention, or things can
Mm-hmm.
be done if I change my tone. Well,
Mm-hmm.
with a 2-year-old, it's different when you hear tone back to you as
Mm-hmm.
so a yes
Mm-hmm.
sometimes is not as simply yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, where does he get that from?
Mm.
Oh, he gets it from me. And I've had to like reflect. I don't like it.
Mm.
I don't like that at all. I don't like tone. You say yes or no, just keep it even. And you talked about this in the webinar too. Like, just say what needs to be done so the lesson can be delivered, so the message can be heard. And there is a sense of humility and
Ooh,
understanding
yes.
as a parent and how it's being received. And I think if we view our children as humans
Mm-hmm.
and even possibly see them as adults, just see your child as who you want them to be. Is your tone appropriate? Is the way that you discipline appropriate? Is the punishment or the consequence appropriate for the person that you are seeking to create? And I've had to check myself, and I will be eventually, soon, shortly, getting every single resource and enrollment package that you have, because so often we invest in things for our children, but we're not
Mm.
investing in things for ourselves as parents.
Yes.
That's where the game changer is. I could put him in every sport. Hey, Natalie, that's another boss mama.
Hey.
And shout out to everyone who's watching. I could put him in anything, invest, throw money on it. He's a drummer, throw all of my all into what he does. But it's who he is and it's how I show up as his mother that he will remember. That's what will count. How I treat him, how I speak to him, how I invest in him, how I pour into
Yes.
him. And so your webinar the other night was beautiful because
Mm.
I saw a room of 30 plus people who were sitting down intentionally seeking to learn and unlearn parenting
Mm.
in a world that tells us, parents don't really care. There's so many fingers pointed. Parents don't care, educators don't care, kids don't listen, da da da.
Mm.
Trying to pit us against each other. It was a moment in a very beautiful space where educator was sharing with parents, was benefiting children. We were all on the same page. It was a safe space. I felt seen. I felt heard.
Mm.
I giggled. I, ouch. Why she all in my business like that? But it was an opportunity for something that I love to do, which is grow. So I want to just like say thank you because I know it is. Um,
Mhm.
it's simple to do what you love to do and to be passionate about it, but it is a choice. It's a decision to show up that way. So I
Mm.
appreciate you being obedient to
Mm.
whatever God has told you to do and creating these spaces and opportunities. I believe that parents want to be the best that they can be.
Yes.
They need people like you and I to support them along the journey.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I want you to tell us all the ways that we can connect, what we can expect, all the things before we wrap.
Yes, thank you so much for that. That meant a lot. Definitely felt and so appreciated. So if anyone wants to keep in touch, you can find me on Facebook at Parenting for the Culture. Same for the website. That's www.parentingfortheculture.com. On that website, we do have a means to just join my VIP list to stay updated. I'm gonna try to add that to the chat for you, Cassandra.
Okay.
Yep. Ain't working, but
Well, as you do that, let me ask you a question. And
uh-huh.
this is a curveball, so apologies.
Oh, it's okay, girl. What's up?
But
We here for it.
so parenting for the culture, when I think for the culture, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's the culture? So can you give us just, and I feel like you touch on this in all of your posting and your sharing, but
Mm-hmm.
what culture or what mindset are you really targeting? So if there's somebody watching this live or watching this on replay, I want you to speak to that person who's like, oh, this is so great that what she's doing for other people. Like, I want you to be like, not you.
Absolutely. So when I say for the culture, I am talking about my people, honestly, who look like me. The reality is that the content that I'm talking about, it could be for any parent, right? I know trauma shows up across all cultures, right? This generational trauma that shows up in our parenting, it touches all people. However, I am passionate and dedicated to this work for my people who look like me, who feel like this is embedded in us because it actually is, right? There's a whole other conversation about epigenetics that is
Yep.
literally embedded in us, but that just because it has been our norm doesn't mean it's normal. right? Just because it has been our tradition doesn't mean it has to be the trajectory for our future. And so when I say parenting for the culture, I am talking about let's really uproot this residue of slavery that is on us that we don't even realize we need to dust off. And so that is the culture that I am proud to be a part of. And when I think about, even when it comes to parenting, again, when you say parenting for the culture, our culture, Cassandra, we have only been legally parenting for roughly 160 years.
Wow. Say that
That's it.
again. Let me put that in the
Roughly,
chat.
roughly as a cultural, Cassandra, and everyone who's listening. And I would love to drop that in the chat if there's new information for you. We have only been legally parenting for roughly 160 years. If you factor in Jim Crow, it's less than that. And so imagine
Wow.
again how so much residue of our history is still showing up day to day with how we parent our kids. And again, we have called this tradition when it's really trauma. And so I really, again, when I say parenting for the culture, again, I'm talking about people who resonate with their history, people who resonate with their story. Can other people benefit? Absolutely. I have clients of different cultures and different races. However, I am unapologetic about the target, again, being the people who look like me because we have to start some new cycles. We have to start some new cycles. We talk about generational curses. Here's my thing. For anyone, I know you're a believer as well, Cassandra, anyone who may be listening, for people like ourselves, right, who are believers, I have grown up all my life hearing about generational curses, and I get it, right? But it was at one point I had to really stop and think. I said, hold on now. As a blood-bought believer,
Come on.
my my lineage has been cleansed through the blood. I'm not cursed. How can I be cursed and blessed at the same time?
Mhm.
If I'm saying, God, I believe that you have, like, if did he do it or he didn't, right? So I am not cursed. I am blessed. So here's the thing: there are cycles, though. If we don't identify those cycles and then interrupt them, they will
Yes.
continue for generation after generation after generation. That's why I don't claim any curses because I'm blessed. However, what are cycles that have been passed down throughout the years that I now have a choice to identify and interrupt? And so I think it's so because when you say curse, like, oh, woe is me, like this just been placed on me. No, we have a choice, right? We have access to tools and skill sets and a higher power to interrupt these cycles. And so I think it's just a really important perspective shift to realize what are we claiming, like what do we really believe? What do our faith tell us to believe, right? What are we claiming? And then how are we acting in that power? And so it's just really, I see parenting, I ain't gonna lie, girl, it's like a sanctification process. Like
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
like it gets down to the core of who we are, our
Yep.
fears, our strengths, our shortcomings, right,
Yep.
our insecurities. And so it's just a powerful position to be in and a powerful position to leverage,
Yes.
if we truly understand the power and impact that comes with it.
Woo! I'm sliding right in the DM after we log off because, wow, yes, Nat is blowing
Yes.
up the chat. Parenting and marriage. I thought the same thing. There's a process
Mm,
when to become one. There's a process when you are birthing and raising and stewarding and shepherding uh,
mm,
and responsible for a life, a soul, a human. And if
mm,
we can begin to or continue to really view our children as souls,
mm.
as complete people, like I see Josiah as he will be, not just
Yes.
as he is, as he was in my womb, as he is now, and as he will be. And that makes me feel very urgent about getting it right. And that doesn't mean perfect. That means continuing to grow
Mm.
and continuing to work on it. So,
Girl. And I gotta say, I'm so glad you said that because I think because it is such a huge responsibility, we can feel a certain weight with it. And that is okay to a degree, right? I don't think it's important we keep the right mindset. Like I have to remind myself, I'm my kid's steward. Like I'm not their owner. I am literally called to steward them while they're here on this earth. And so I just want to say really quick to that because it's so important. Like you
Yes,
said, it's not about being perfect, right? I say the goal is not to be a perfect parent. The goal is to be a present parent, right? Present with
yes,
ourselves, present
yes.
with our kids, present with our emotions. Like being present is the goal, not being perfect. We listen, we ain't gonna get it right every time. We're not gonna
No,
get it right 100% of the time. But as we grow in presence, right, we grow in our parenting. So yes, very well said, Cassandra. Thank you for naming that.
absolutely, absolutely. So I think I interrupted you because we were throwing in the chat a couple of things. Tell us how to find you and then how to stay connected. I know you said
Absolutely.
parentingfortheculture.com. I'm gonna read
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm. And
And
on Facebook, the same Parenting for the Culture.
okay,
And I do have on my website a way to join. If you hit contact on my website, again, that's parentingfortheculture.com. If you go to the tab to contact me, I have a VIP list. If you just put your information in there, you'll be able to stay updated on upcoming workshops and any special events or offers that's happening. So Cassandra mentioned a workshop I had last Thursday, the love language of discipline. Yeah, we had a good time. I know she already talked about it a little bit. We had a really good
time
time.
last Thursday. We had a time last night.
And
Yes,
so see, people have asked for a redo on that, and so that may be on the verge. More details coming soon. So if you're interested in staying in the know with that, make sure you sign up for that VIP list on my website. Again, parentingfortheculture.com under contact VIP list.
absolutely. Y'all, you do not want to miss it. Anything that she puts out, please. And you do lives on Facebook. I love that you're a certified parent coach because not only do you have the experience and the knowledge, you have the training as well to deal with and handle us with grace. Because parenting is a sensitive topic.
Listen,
Don't tell me I'm doing it wrong, even though I probably could. It's you just handle us with so much grace, and I think that is
thank
where
you.
you are gifted. It's certainly ministry. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching on StreamYard, Facebook, Instagram. If you catch the replay, please make sure that you connect with Elyse and stay connected with us. Our children are gifts, and they are definitely worth the intentionality of growing as parents. So thank you, Parenting for the Culture. Thank you, Elyse Jones. Girl, I want to call you Dr. Reverend Elyse Jones because I feel like that last little bit. I'm watching the replay so I can just,
Bless it, Cassandra. Before we go, can I leave the listeners with something, a really short assignment?
yes, please. I love it.
Really, really short assignment, you guys. If you are listening, and something resonated with you, I would just be curious for you. You can feel free to drop it in the chat or just keep it to yourself in your journal. But when it comes to your parenting, right, what is something you want to stop, something you want to start, all right, and something you want to continue? Just for some reflection on where you are with your parents. Maybe something came up in this conversation, maybe something you heard at some other podcast or Facebook Live. But when it comes to your parenting, what is something you want to consider starting, stopping, and continuing, just as a place of self-reflection for where you are in your journey?
Yes, a true educator. I love homework. I'm writing it down and I put it in the chat. So y'all have no reason not to sit and at least reflect. But if you share your reflection, that's even better. So if you are on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, if you're on Instagram and you're watching this, I would love to hear your reflection. And I know Elyse would
Yes.
love to hear and
Yes.
help you walk through it and sticking with it. Thank you, sis. It's great to
Thank
see you.
you.
And we're going to do this again. I know we are.
Yes.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.